So, my engine is burning oil or leaking it, not sure. This is my Celica GT with a 1ZZFE engine, and when I check this dipstick here, I just did an oil change so it looks good. But right on the end there, it typically looks bone dry, and I can hear it, and especially when it's cold, it tends to sound like a diesel. So, I would like to fix that this summer, not gonna be this video. I'm gonna clean this thing off, get it looking nice. This is my 2003 Celica GT. I have owned this car for the past few years, and it's the first car I've really enjoyed. Some of the things I've done to it is recently I put Rev 9 coilovers on it and lowered it beyond what it's supposed to, as in, yes, I adjusted preload when I shouldn't have, and it's kind of where I've felt the consequences of that, but it looks kind of cool. I have also installed a subwoofer, which I'm going to rearrange that so that it's in the trunk and no longer in the back seats, because eventually if I have kids, I would like them to sit in the back of the car instead of selling this car for a sedan. So that's my compromise for a family. I haven't done much power-wise. Closest to that has been maintaining the air filter and building a custom exhaust. This is the second time I've done that now though, because the first time it rotted through due to Minnesota being Minnesota and salt doing salt things. But this time I've painted it and I've done a V-band clamp, so if it does rust or rot away, it is easier to replace. I do need to adjust it because right now it scrapes, but it sounds pretty cool and I enjoy it. Some of the other things I've done with the stereo or with these subs, I have done a aftermarket stereo, just a basic Bluetooth one. It's really nice. I like the music. I'd like to rearrange it like I said, but it works, and maybe in the future I'll swap it out for one that actually has working navigation. This one said it did, but it doesn't. Along with the interior, I have also done a short throw shifter, thank you fiance, and a shift knob to go with that, just kind of a cheap AutoZone one. I have also installed not only a aftermarket steering wheel and NRG Gen 2 quick release, I have also installed an extender because I'm a tall boy. Brings the steering wheel closer to me so I can actually reach it properly. Weirdly enough, a quirk of this car is now I have to overextend to reach the signals because now they're farther away from me, but I'm fine with that. So maybe a next owner might have an issue if it even gets to that point, because the car is rusting really bad. As far as future plans with this car goes is kind of just keep it running. I may build the motor and turbo it and do ECU tunes and that, as in I will not be using the factory ECU. Ideally what I want to do is make my own piggyback system, or not piggyback, but a standalone system using a Haltech ECU. I just like to make an adapter between the factory harness and Haltech so that if anything goes wrong, I can just plug the factory ECU back in and it'll go back to normal. But with that, I would also like to upgrade the whole engine, overhaul it, because currently, yes, it is leaking oil and drinking it probably, considering the amount of smoke it puts out in the winter. And it's getting more and more severe, where it wasn't something I noticed before. And over the past year, it's gotten worse. As to last oil change I just did, the last 3,000 or 3,100 miles, it has not only gone down past the safe level, it has gone beyond what the stick can read. And I've added a quart of oil, and then it's drank that too. So I just did an oil change now, and I'll keep an eye on it, but it may be me doing oil changes every 2,000 miles now instead of 3,000, just to keep oil in it. Because it is looking pretty dark too, so it wouldn't be a bad idea. But with that engine overhaul, I don't know if I'll be doing pistons. I will be doing everything, as in looking at everything. So I will most likely be replacing bearings for the rods and pistons, checking the clearances on the camshafts, if anything, upgrading to a more aggressive camshaft that supports VVTi and things like that. And just maintaining things like probably replacing the timing chain, because that can stretch and wear and have issues over time. And this doesn't have VVT Li, so I don't have to worry about lift bolts. But if I had a GTS engine or the 2ZZ, which I might honestly swap in here, I would be replacing those. Along the lines of that idea, I'm thinking I just want to pull this out for a week, overhaul it, and throw it back in, and have my daily again, just running good and not leaking. But if it does come to it, I may buy a second engine to rebuild and overhaul itself. That would be a ton of fun, but that is a lot more overhead costs that I don't really have the finances for, being I'm getting married this summer, so that's not really in the budget. With the engine overhaul, I would probably be doing a cold air intake, and obviously all the seals, the belt is seen better days, and I may adjust some stuff and definitely clean up the engine bay while the engine's out to hopefully route the throttle cable better so that it looks nicer. Probably still leaving it without the cruise control, and redoing some of the wiring so that it's neater and more tucked instead of out in the open and kind of ugly. I'd like this to look nice and just be maintenanceable. I have really enjoyed this car a lot. I would like to also put a wide body on it. I'm thinking when I make the body kit for the Superca, I may make a mold so that I can copy it onto the daily. Ideally, I will keep this car long enough that the frame rots out and I can buy and overhaul a second Celica so that the frame is in perfect condition, exactly how I want. Maybe cut off the front and rear end and turn it to tube chassis and completely redesign it exactly how I want it, give it all-wheel drive. That's more of a dream build, but at least refresh it so that I know every nook and cranny is exactly how I want it and in perfect condition. So not perfectionist level, but at least I know it's not going to be an issue. I would also like to maybe think about making headlights like I did for the project car, redoing it on both of them, but I do like these ones. They're just Amazon headlights. They're Spec D tuning if you want to look at them. They're about $200. But I have really enjoyed this car a lot, and I know a lot of people who own them really like them. This is kind of the worst generation that got the short end of the stick because Toyota was having somewhat of a financial crisis and getting kicked out of Rally when they were engineering it. And it was, pardon my French, but ugly as shit when it first came out. So I'm glad I got the TRD body kit, which looks way better than it originally did. So that's just my personal preference. No offense to anyone else who has the originals and the factory style looks on it, but I definitely prefer the TRD style. I'd also like to mention I am starting a wrap business called Celica, and I did wrap this car with Vivid Gloss Candy Apple Red. I think it looks amazing. When it's overstretched, it can kind of look pink. I really like how darker lighting, it's very deep. And then in the light, it's pretty bright, and up close, it has a really nice, almost metallic sparkle. So I like the look. I just thought I'd mention that too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was definitely not the style I usually do, but I thought while I was doing the oil change, might as well let you guys know of a future plan I have or would like to have of fixing this up, because I've seen enough of these trashed. I'd like to definitely keep this one going good. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.